There was an old man lying in a hospital bed, 83 years old, frail, quiet. The machines beside him beeping softly. His family gathered around him, crying, whispering, holding hands. And he was calm, peaceful, almost smiling, because he had finally understood something he wished someone had told him 60 years ago. Something so simple, so obvious, yet so brutally ignored by almost everyone alive. He turned to his grandson, a young boy of 12, and whispered one word. Just one. Temporary. The boy frowned. "What does that mean, Grandpa?" The old man smiled, closed his eyes, and said, "Everything, my child. Everything." He passed away that night, but that one word, that single, quiet word, stayed with the boy forever. And decades later, it became the foundation of everything he understood about life. This is the story of that word and the life-changing truth it carries. A truth most people only learned when it's too late. His name was Anil, the grandson, 12 years old, when his grandfather whispered that word. And at Swelby, he didn't understand it. How could he? At Swelby, the world feels infinite. Time feels endless. Everything feels permanent. The sun will always rise. The people you love will always be there. The pain you feel will always hurt. The happiness you experienced will always last. Everything feels like forever until it doesn't. Anil grew up, became an engineer, got a job, built a life, and somewhere along the way, he forgot his grandfather's word, forgot temporary. Because life gets loud, demands get bigger, and the quiet wisdom of an old man on a deathbed gets buried under the noise of daily survival. At 28, Anil fell in love. Her name was Kavya. Beautiful, brilliant, the kind of woman who made the world feel brighter just by existing. They got married, moved into a small apartment, started building a future together, and Anil thought, this is it, this is forever. He held her hand every night and believed, truly believed, that this feeling would never change, that this love was permanent, that this happiness was his to keep. But life whispered what his grandfather already knew. Nothing stays. 2 years into their marriage, Kavya got sick. Not a cold. Not something minor. Something serious. Something that changed everything. The doctors spoke in careful words, careful timelines. Anil listened and felt the ground crack beneath him. How long? Ask it. The doctor's silence was the answer he didn't want to hear. The months that followed were the darkest of Anil's life. He watched the woman he loved disappear. Slowly. Painfully. Day by day, she became less of herself, and Anil clung to her. Desperately. Painfully. Refusing to accept what was happening. This can't be the end, he'd whisper every night. We were supposed to have forever. One evening, sitting beside her bed, Kavya looked at him. Her eyes still warm, still alive. Despite everything. Anil, she said softly, stop holding on so tight. He looked at her, confused. What do you mean? She smiled. A sad, beautiful, knowing smile. You're so afraid of losing me that you're not enjoying having me. Right now, in this moment, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm with you, but you can't see it, because you're already mourning something that hasn't happened yet. Her words hit him like lightning, because she was right. He had been so consumed by the fear of losing her that he had stopped experiencing the gift of having her. He was living in the future, in the loss, in the grief, instead of living in the present, in the love, in the now. Now, that night, something shifted inside Anil. He stopped crying, stopped fighting, stopped clinging, and started something he hadn't done in months. He started being present. He held her hand, Not desperately. Gently. He told her stories, made her laugh, watched the way the moonlight touched her face, and for the first time in weeks, they both felt peace, not because the situation changed, but because they stopped fighting it. Kavya passed away on a quiet Tuesday morning, and Anil grieved. Deeply, honestly. But not the way he had feared, because somewhere in those final days, he had learned the hardest and most beautiful lesson of his life. Everything is temporary. And that's not a curse, it's a gift. Years later, Anil sat with his own son, a young boy who reminded him of himself at 12. The boy was upset. Something small had gone wrong at school. "It's not fair," he cried. "Why does everything bad happen to me?" Anil knelt beside him and smiled. "Do you know what my grandfather told me when he was dying?" The boy shook his head. He said one word: temporary. "And do you know what that means?" The boy wiped his tears. "What?" Anil held his cheek gently. "It means this pain you're feeling right now, it won't last, but it also means the happy moments, they won't last either. So when you're sad, remember, it's temporary. When you're happy, remember, it's temporary. And that means every single moment, good or bad, is precious, because none of them will come again." Here's the brutal truth. You're treating life like it has infinite pages. Like there's always a next chapter. Always more time. Always another chance. But there isn't. Not really. Everything you're holding on to is already changing. The person you love is aging. The moment you're in is disappearing. The version of yourself you know today will never exist again tomorrow. Everything is moving. Everything is shifting. Everything is leaving. Whether you notice or not, and here's the paradox. Knowing everything is temporary doesn't make life sadder. It makes it sharper, more vivid, more alive. Because when you truly understand that this moment will never repeat, you stop sleepwalking through it. You stop taking it for granted. You stop assuming there's always more time. You start tasting your coffee, feeling the sun, hearing the laughter, seeing the faces you love, really seeing them. The pain you're feeling right now. Temporary. The happiness you're experiencing. Temporary. The fear holding you back. Temporary. Temporary. The person reading these words right now. Temporary. Everything. All of it. A beautiful, fleeting, irreplaceable parade of moments that will never come again. So stop waiting for forever. Forever doesn't exist, but now does. Right now. This breath, this heartbeat, this second. It's the only thing that's real, and it's already disappearing. So feel it, fully, completely, without holding back. Because the greatest tragedy isn't losing what you love. It's never truly having it while it was yours. Everything is temporary, and that's exactly what makes it beautiful. Don't waste it. Live Italiano.